the schedule. Everything today is focused around recruiting. It's all focused around how to bring the best people into your business. Our business, more than a sales business, more than a management business, more than a training program, is really about recruiting. And the guy with the biggest team wins, and the guy with the best people on his crew wins. First, I want to talk about, we're going to go through the first round of callback and the second round interview. In general, for recruitment, not just for this topic, but for every single topic, your image and how you prepare, your first impression of what people are going to see is going to be of paramount importance. So, the same way that when you set up a day of O with your leader, you expect that he's going to have a suit on, you expect that he's going to have, be cleanly shaven, you expect that he's going to look the part of someone who's going to become CEO. This is, multiplied in importance if you're the owner. So when I'm doing a preliminary interview, the first thing that I want to take a look at is, what does my office look like? What does my desk look like? Does this look like a professional place to work? Does this look like a place where someone would take me seriously? Especially that in our business we have a lot of people that have companies at a very young age. My goal is that I'm able to recruit everybody. So I've got to make up for maybe the fact that I might be a little bit younger with an incredible image. Also on image, I don't want to have anything that could possibly offend anyone. So the same way that on the day of O, I'm not going to talk about religion, for instance, or the same way that if I have 3 new guys that start at team night, we're not going that don't drink, we're not going to go to a bar because it might make them feel uncomfortable. It's the same setting in my office. So I'm not going to have anything in my office that could be offensive. I'm not going to have posters of supermodels up or anything crazy like that. My personal image, I'm going to look like I do now. So I want to there's nothing I'm wearing right now that could possibly offend anyone. I'm not going to have any earrings in. I'm going to be cleanly shaven. I'm not going to have any tattoos. And this isn't because, I don't like earrings or I don't like tattoos. It's because that might make some people not take me seriously. That might make some people feel a little bit uncomfortable. And my goal is to be able to recruit every single person. And if there's any part of my image that would even, push away even 1% of the people that I'm going to interview, I never know who that 1% is going to be. So my image looks great. My desk is cleaned up. It's not disheveled. I don't have a bunch of stuff sitting around everywhere. We're cleaned up. We're ready to go. When we start the preliminary interview, it's the same thing as the pitch at the door. We're going to go out into the room, call the person's name, go up, meet them, make eye contact, smile. Hi, can I see Madalena? How are you? Christoph, come on in. And I want to walk the person in. Walk them in, sit them down. I'm looking to make them comfortable. I'm looking to use some icebreakers. And I have their application. I have a system of what I'm going to write and where I'm going to write it that's uniform for my whole office. So anybody that's doing interviews, this is the system that we'd use. So we have the applicant, we have the person's name. Right here we're going to put their availability when we get to that part of the interview. So this would be whether they're full-time, part-time. We're also going to put when they can start. Right here is where we're going to talk about, and we'll put the times for the day of O, if they're selected. Right here I'm going to put bullet points that I'll be able to read to my leaders tomorrow about their background. And right here, I'm going to put a list of any names of leaders that I think would be most likely to get along with this person and be able to recruit this person. So when I start, bring them in. Ice break. Hey, you having trouble finding us? Okay, fantastic. I'm going to introduce myself. All right, fantastic. Well, listen, my name's Christoph. I'm part of the management team here. I never say I'm the owner. I never say I, started the company. I never say, this is my office, anything like that. It's only going to invite questions that I don't want to have. It's only going to invite people to be a little bit more skeptical. So I just say I'm part of the management team here. What we're doing today is really, really simple and short. We're sitting down with 36 candidates today. We're looking to bring the top 12 to 14 candidates back in tomorrow for a full day interview, which is going to be a lot more extensive. So what numbers do I use there? Well, I want it to match however many days ago they're going to see in the lobby tomorrow. So if we're in Milan, I'm going to say we're going to invite back the top 15 to 16 candidates because that's how many interviews and observations they're probably going to see tomorrow in the lobby. If I'm in a smaller market, I'm going to say we're sitting down with the top, we're sitting down with 15, 20 people today. We're going to select the top 8 to 10 candidates to come back in for tomorrow. So I want this to line up when they're selected with how many people they're going to see in the lobby tomorrow. I'd say so today's really short, really brief. Nothing painful, so you can relax. always laugh a little bit. Today I just want to get to know you a little bit and tell you exactly what we're looking for. So first off, are you looking for full-time work or are you looking for part-time work? Okay, great, full-time. I write this here. All right, and if selected, I assume you can start straight away or what? Okay, so yeah, I'm ready to go straight away. Okay, straight away here means tomorrow, so take it you're not working. Okay, fantastic. Now the next part, I'm going to go through essentially a CV breakdown like you did as a leader when you were doing a day of observation. When I go through their CV, I'm looking for a few things. I want to find out, are they working right now and unhappy with their job? If that's the case, what are they unhappy with? Why do they want to leave? How long have they been unhappy? Do people know that they're looking to leave? Or are they unemployed? If they're unemployed, how long have they been unemployed? Why are they unemployed? What were they doing at their last job? Why did they leave their last job? And the whole point of the CV breakdown, the same way as it is in the day of observation, is I'm looking to identify what motivates this person. I'm looking to identify what doesn't motivate this person. I'm looking to find out what they're looking for. Did they really like their last job but they got fired? Did they really like their last job but their contract expired? Did they not like their last job because of the environment? Did they not like their last job because they couldn't progress? What is it that motivates this person, and what part of the training program is it that's going to be super exciting to them? As you know from taking out days of this is always one of the few things. They're going to be motivated by the ability to progress. They're going to be motivated by a fun atmosphere. They're going to be motivated by growth. They're going to be motivated by security or stability. And I'm trying to identify as many of these points right now so that tomorrow when I set this person up with the leader, I can have a 3-minute conversation with them and give them some background. Okay, here's this person. Here's what they're going to be interested in. Here's a little bit about their background. Here's some things that you definitely want to hit up. If they have an education, I want to talk about their education. People that just spent 8, 10 years in school probably did that because they thought it was pretty important, and they probably think it's pretty important to the job process. So if they just got their PhD in marketing, I probably want to talk about the fact that they got a PhD in marketing because they're definitely going to be looking for a job where they can use the skills that they just spent all this time and money on and applied to the job. I don't want to just ignore it. All right, and then I'm writing down here, as I said, bullet points of what might get them excited. Here I'm writing down the leaders in my office that I think that they would relate with. So I'm writing down people that maybe have a similar background, maybe have a similar story, maybe have similar goals for the future. On my desk, I've got a list of all the leaders in my office so that I can always have that fresh there to look at and say, okay, well this person maybe reminds me more of this guy. Or this person got a master's in marketing from a really great school, so maybe they would work really well with Carolyn. Or this person had such and such background in the military, so maybe they work well with Greg. Once we go through that, find out what they're looking for, now we have the short story where I explain what we're doing. So say, okay, great, let me tell you a little bit about ourselves. Now, how you explain the background of the company is up to you, and it's perfectly fine for that to be specific to your office. But you want to have a starting point. So you want to have some point where I talk about where the company starts. That can be, we started in this year in this country. You can talk about a starting point for your specific organization. What I do with the starting point, I usually talk about America. I say our business model got started back in the States. I flip the back of the paper over, and this is what it's going to look like. So our business model got started in the States. There we worked with hotels, restaurants, golf courses, sports teams. We're an outsourced advertising and marketing company. You're probably familiar with some of the companies that we work with there. Sports teams like the New York Yankees, restaurants like McDonald's, hotels like the Hyatt and Hilton. I'm looking here to just name drop. I want to establish some credibility by talking about some of the clients that we work with. Make sense? Yeah? Okay. I say then in 2007, so I'm going to give you my short story. There's a lot of ones that you can do. In 2007, we got the opportunity to expand overseas. We opened our first office in the UK, in London, a place called Moorgate. We started there really, really small, just 4 people. And upon coming overseas, we launched some new divisions where we started working with clients in the charity business, so companies like the British Red Cross, started working with energy clients. We started working with telephony, so companies like Vodafone. So I want to explain again that we're in the applications business. I want to talk about any other programs that are currently going on. If I'm in a makeup office, I'm talking about Victoria Jackson. This is really where I want to mention the clients that we're working with right now. So say in that time, although we started out really, really small because we found some really great clients, and because of launching these new visions, we've had record growth. Now in the UK, we have over 100 offices in every single country in the UK, just over 1,000 people that work with us. Now when I'm explaining the history, I want everything to always come back to the client. So the reason why we're growing is because of client demand. I want to create a picture where there's a tremendous amount of pressure on us to grow, not because we want to grow, but because there's a tremendous amount of demand for what we do in the industry. So I say, now obviously a lot of those companies like Vodafone, for instance, they don't just have business in the UK. They've been pressuring us essentially since we got over to start expanding into other countries where they do business. And into the rest of Europe. So in 2009, we started that process. We opened up Spain. Again, we started really, really small. One office in the middle of Madrid, just 4 people. Today, that program's grown to all the major markets in Spain and just over 400 people working with us in Spain. Now, because we're in Spain, obviously a lot of the clients that work there also had business in Portugal, so we got the opportunity to expand again in 2011 in Portugal. We now have, five locations in Portugal, working with just over 100 people there. And last year, again, same story. Our clients were pressuring us to expand, and we had a wait list in Italy, so we opened up Italy 6 months ago here. Again, we started out really, really small, just 3 people. Now we're working with just over 75 people. So what I've explained to them there, and the reason I've explained it that way, is I want 2 things. I want them to feel like this is a legitimate big company because it is, and because we do have offices all over the world. I want them to feel like it's, if they're looking and their hotspot is to work for a big, stable, branded company, we have that. But I also want them to understand that we're a growing company, and if their bullet is to work with somewhere that's more like a startup or somewhere super, super exciting where they're going to be part of, explosive growth, they have that as well. Also, I know that in a lot of my offices, we're not going to have 75 people, or we might not have, a big, huge, beautiful building. So I want to make the story make sense with the office that they're going to see. If I have a really, really small office and we just got started and there's only 10 people, I've got to have that make sense with the story that I'm telling. So if I talk about how when we just open a country or we just open an office, we start out really, really, really small with just 3 or 4 people, and then we grow big. Now this makes sense for what they're seeing around. So say now, we have tremendous demand for what we're doing, and then I put it back on the client. What we promised our clients here is that in the next 3 years, we'll open a minimum of 50 offices here in Italy. Now again, this is going to be specific to my campaign. It may be specific to my organization. It doesn't have to be 3 years, 50 offices. It can be, we have X number of offices and we want to double in size, but I want it to be big enough that they can see when they come in and they start and they're in the atmosphere room and they look around at 15 other people. I want them to see that the opportunity is big enough for everyone to get promoted. So I wouldn't say our goal is to open up 1 more office in the next 6 months, because again, I'm keeping in mind this person's going to start here, they're going to be in the training program. If they're in the atmosphere and they see 25 people there and our goal was to open up 1 office in the next 6 months, well, they're going to think, well, I'm not going to be able to become a manager because I'm competing with those people. So I want this goal to be big enough to include everybody. Now, so what we promised our clients, what we've committed to them, is that over the next 3 years, we'll open up a minimum of 50 offices just here in Italy. And then I talk about some of the other countries that we're going into. I say currently we're doing test markets in Brazil. We're also planning to open up Poland in the first quarter of next year. Now, in our company, we have a very specific philosophy. We believe that every person who's going to manage another person should know how to do their job. So here, I'm going to close them on 100% promotion from within.
Sorry, Christoph, could you repeat that sentence?
Yes. In our company, we have a very specific philosophy. We believe that any person in a management role should know how to do the job of every person that he oversees. Do you agree with that philosophy? I've gotten a yes every single time I've ever asked anybody this question, ever. And I think, again, it's going to help the leader the next day to explain why it is that we have to start out knocking on doors. Or we have to start out doing basic sales in a mall. So do you agree with that philosophy? And essentially what I'm going to try to do now is explain to them the program in a way that they can see that the entry-level part is only temporary, that they're going to have to train in every single position. And I'm trying to set up their leader for success tomorrow and it not be some big shock that, they have to start out doing entry-level sales. I'm trying to help out the leader as much as possible. So do you agree with that philosophy? Yes? Okay, fantastic. Now on my sheet, I then essentially draw out a version of the lunchtime breakdown. So, 50 offices in the next 3 years. The only thing holding us back from that, the only reason why we can't open all those offices tomorrow is we don't have enough managers to oversee those locations. Now in our company we have a very specific philosophy. We believe that all the managers should know how to do the job of any person that they oversee. You believe in that philosophy as well? Okay, fantastic. Well, our managers are responsible in an office for 3 different departments. They're responsible for a sales and fundraising team. They're responsible for a back office. And they're responsible for a client and marketing team. So, the way that we train our managers is we literally teach them every single job here. Then we teach them every single job here. Then we teach them every single job here. And then they would move into a role as a manager. Why am I explaining it this way? Because this is the lunchtime breakdown. Because I want them to understand that it's not just sales. Cool? Now I'm going to go through each department and I'm going to explain exactly what that department does. And the goal, the reason that I'm explaining it this way is because there's going to be something for everybody in here. So whether they like office work or they like dealing with people, whether they're a little bit creative or a little bit boring, there's going to be something that's going to appeal to every person here. So we start out in the sales and fundraising department. Our sales staff, and I use this in the third person, so our sales and fundraising team work in 3 ways. Everything that they do is face-to-face. They do that either business to business, business to consumer, or through events and exhibitions. So we'll literally go anywhere, talk to anybody. To give you some examples on the events and exhibition side, we've done places like staff home shows, trade shows, shopping malls, sporting events, music festivals. We did a beer festival last year. That was pretty fun, right? So I'm talking about all the different places that we could go and travel and staff in an event setting. All the way down to meeting consumers or business owners individually on a one-on-one basis, either where they live or where they work. It's pretty simple stuff. Usually this takes about 3 weeks for someone to get pretty good at. From there, our candidates would move into a role as a trainer, where now they would be responsible for teaching, training, and developing people in the first stage. And then from there, we move to more of an office setting. Covering the back office. This is where we deal with everything, from a desk, everything behind a desk, anything to do with a spreadsheet or paperwork. This is where we cover the basic administrative duties, human resources, public relations, tax laws, all the legal aspects of what we do, and the basic administrative roles. Now, if I see that they're a really dynamic person that's probably more interested in people and pretty outgoing, I usually kind of make a joke about this part. I say, okay, from there we do all the office stuff. So this is, to be honest with you, where we cover some of the more boring stuff. All right, this is where we go through all the paperwork, the administration, the human resources, the public relations, the tax, the legal stuff, and all the sales support. So every office has to have a back office in order to perform. This is where we cover those functions. And then from there, into working with our client and marketing team. This is where we cover market strategy, market research, market design, and how to do test markets and pilot programs. So, whatever kind of person you are, whether you're like a creative, artsy type, or you're a boring, want to sit behind a desk type, or you're a dynamic, I want to deal with people type, or you're into sales, or you're into training, there's going to be something here in one of these departments that's going to get that person excited. At the same time, I'm also explaining to them that they're going to have to train in departments that are different from specifically what they were looking for. So let's say from there, the person will move into a role as a manager, then oversee all 3 departments simultaneously, and help us expand. Now, the reason that I'm interviewing so many candidates is it's really difficult for us to find the right type of people to come through this program, because as you can see, all these jobs are really different from each other. And invariably, some people are going to like one department or one set of tasks more than the other. Could you see yourself coming through a program like this and training in all the different areas, the ones that you liked, the ones that you didn't like, the ones that you learned quickly, the ones that took you a little bit more time to develop? Yes. Okay, fantastic. Our average candidate coming through this program right now, start to finish, is doing it anywhere from 6 to 10 months. The only way that we're able to accomplish it that fast is we work a few extra hours, and here's where I talk about the specific hours of my office. So a normal day here will start at around 8:30 in the morning, and won't finish till about 9 in the evening. Can you handle those hours? Again, I'm putting the pressure back on them. I know that in the first round interview, the greed is going to be super high, so I know that any question that I ask them or any kind of challenge that I give them, they're gonna be open to. So can you handle the hours? Yes. Can you train in all these different departments? Yes. Could you learn the roles that you liked as well as the ones that you didn't like? Yes. And this is going to help my leader tomorrow be able to recruit that person more easily because we've already introduced some of the concepts.
Can you repeat all those questions?
Which ones? Yeah. Can you handle the hours? Yep.
Can you go back to the part? See yourself like this and handle all the
Christoph?
parts.
Yeah.
Just grab somebody and do it.
Just grab what?
Why don't you just grab somebody and do it?
Do an interview.
Do an interview? The whole thing? All right. Hi, can I see Christopher, please? Hi, Christopher. How are you? Great to meet you. Come on in, buddy. How's your day going today? Pretty good?
Yeah.
Awesome. Where are you coming in from? From Lisbon? Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, fantastic. Well, listen, Christopher, my name's Christoph. We have the same name. That's kind of cool.
Okay.
Today's really, really simple. I'm part of the management team here. Okay. Today we're sitting down with 36 candidates. We're just looking for the top 8 to 10 candidates to come back in tomorrow for a full day secondary interview, which is going to be a lot more extensive. Okay? So it's nothing painful today. You can relax. All right? It's going to be pretty quick. I just wanted to get to know you a little bit more and tell you a little bit more about the company. Okay? So first off, are you looking for full-time work or part-time work?
Full-time.
Full-time? Okay, great. And when can you start?
Right away, I guess.
Right away? As in like tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. All right, and it looks like here your last job was at the cinema. Can you tell me about that a little bit?
It was a basic job. I was just at the front desk.
Yeah? Cool. So you probably dealt with a lot of people,
Yes.
that sort of thing? Okay, fantastic. How long were you there?
2 years.
2 years, okay. Looks like things were going there pretty well for you. I saw that you had some training experience there, that you moved to a supervisor position in the 2 years that you were there.
The first 2 months
Wow.
was kind of nice because I like to get involved with people and talking, so
Okay.
it was nice.
All right, fantastic. And why did you leave?
I didn't get along with the people there.
Oh, okay.
I just thought it was good, but then
With
things
the
got a
management
little bit
team or
rough.
the other people that you worked with?
No, the other employees.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't a very good environment?
No.
Anytime they say something negative, I'm going to take notes for a little bit and make them notice. Cool? So. All right. And I see that you studied marketing and advertising
Yes.
at the University of Lisbon. Okay, great. What made you want to get into that?
Because I like managing stuff.
Yeah? You like managing, marketing, projects? All right, and other than cinema, haven't really had any work experience, so I take it right now, you just graduated, really looking to get your foot in the door of the marketing industry, the advertising industry? Yeah. Okay, well let me tell you a little bit about us, all right? We're an outsourced advertising and marketing company, okay? Our business model got started in the States. There we work with hotels, restaurants, golf courses, sports teams, anybody from, I'm sure you heard of like the New York Yankees before.
Yes.
Yeah, they're one of our clients, too, on the restaurant side, McDonald's, I'm sure you've had McDonald's every once in a while, to hotels like the Hyatt Republic, okay? Now in 2007, we got the opportunity to expand overseas. So we opened up our first international office in the UK, in London. We started out there really, really small, just with 4 people, a little office in Moorgate. Have you ever been to London?
Yes, a couple
Yeah?
times.
Okay, cool. So you know a little bit about how it is there. Our first office was in Moorgate. Later on, we had an office in Old Street, and now we have a location in London Bridge. So you probably walked by some of them before. When we opened up in the UK, we launched some new divisions. Okay, we started working with charity companies, so companies like the British Red Cross, the RSPCA, UNICEF. Okay, we also started working in telephony with companies like Vodafone. We also started working in the energy industry, so companies like EDP, EDF. Okay. From those original 4 people that we started out with in 2007, we've seen unprecedented growth. Now we have offices in every single country in the UK as well as Ireland, working with just over 1,000 people there. Okay? Now obviously a lot of the companies that I've just mentioned, they don't just do business in the UK, so they've been pressuring us for some time to come down and expand our operations into the rest of Europe. Okay? We started that process in 2009. Opened our first office in Europe, in Madrid. Again, we started out really, really small, just 4 people, a little office in the center of Madrid. All right, that's gone very, very well. We now work with just over 400 people throughout all the major markets in Spain. Because things were going so well in Spain, our clients then asked us to come and expand into Portugal. We did that in 2011. It's going really, really well. We've got some new clients there in the charity industry. Working with just over 100 people there. And just this year, I've asked us to come here and open up Italy, so that's why we're in Milan. Okay? We started out here 6 months ago. Again, really, really small, just 3 of us. We're now working with just over 70 people. Okay? Now, what we promised our clients here in Italy is that at a minimum, we'll open an additional 50 offices in the next 3 years. Yeah, so we have a lot of work ahead of us, okay? The only thing that's stopping us from being able to open up all those offices tomorrow is a lack of qualified managers who can oversee locations like this. Okay? Now, we have a very specific philosophy in our company. We believe that a manager should know how to do the job of every single person that he oversees. Do you agree with that philosophy? Absolutely. Yeah? Okay, fantastic. Well, the way that we train our managers then, okay, as a manager, they're responsible for 3 different departments. Responsible for a sales and fundraising team. Okay? They're responsible for back office. And they're responsible for a client and marketing team. Okay? The way that we train our managers is literally, we have them learn every single job here, every single job here, and every single job here. Okay? So, I'll walk you through briefly each department and what they'd be expected to learn. In the sales and marketing department, our sales and marketing team work 3 ways. Okay? Everything that they do is face to face. All right? This is either business to business, business to consumer, or through events and exhibitions. Okay? So we'll work anywhere from home shows, trade shows, shopping malls, football matches, music festivals, rock concerts. We staffed a beer festival last year. That was pretty fun. All the way to meeting consumers and business owners individually on a face-to-face basis, either where they live or where they work. Okay? From there, our candidates would move into a role as a trainer. Okay? Where in addition to the sales responsibilities, they now be responsible for teaching, training, developing, and scheduling members of the sales and marketing staff. Does that make sense? All right, from there we do all the boring stuff, okay, to be honest. All the back office, so this is anything dealing with the desk and paperwork, spreadsheets, anything like that. We cover all the basic administrative duties, the human resources, public relations, all the tax, legal stuff, as well as sales and quality control. Okay. And then from there into the more creative side, working with our client marketing team. This is where we cover market research, market strategy, market design, how to do test markets, and how to do pilot programs. Okay. And then from there into a role as a manager, where our managers would help us expand and oversee all 3 offices simultaneously. Okay. Now, the hard part about my job and the hard part of the reason why we're interviewing so many candidates, as you can see, moving through a role like this, there's a lot of different responsibilities. Okay. So we're looking for someone really open-minded, really, really hardworking, that could come in and learn every single job in every single department. All right. Invariably, when people come to this program, there's going to be some areas that they pick up really, really quickly. There's going to be some areas that they struggle with a little bit more. There's going to be some areas they really like. There's going to be some areas that are just, plain boring, if I'm honest with you. Okay. Could you see yourself coming through a program like this and learning every single different department, the ones that you like, the ones that you didn't like?
I believe so.
Okay, fantastic. All right, now our average candidate coming through here, start to finish, is able to complete this training program in anywhere from 6 to 10 months. Okay? They have to be in order for us to hit our target of 50 offices in the next 3 years. Okay? The only way that we're able to accomplish it that quickly is work a few extra hours. So typically here, a normal day would start at around 8:30 and finish at around 9 in the evening. Can you handle those hours? Yeah? All right, like I said, we have another 50 or 53 candidates to sit down with today. Do you have anything specific about yourself that you think would make you stand out as a candidate against all the other applicants?
Other than the fact that I really like people and I see myself doing it, nothing much to say.
Yeah? Okay. All right, what we're going to do from here, like I said, we still have 53 other candidates to sit down with today. We're finished at 6 o'clock with the interviews. I'm going to sit down with the other managers. So we're finished at 6 o'clock. I'm going to sit down with the other managers from 6:30 to 7. And we're going to make some callbacks and some decisions on who to bring back in for tomorrow. Okay? Now, as I said, the top 12 to 15 people that interview today, we'll bring them back in tomorrow for a full-day secondary interview. All right? Now, our secondary interview is a little bit different. It's not a desk interview or anything like that. Literally, we would have a candidate come in and spend a whole day with us. So they would come here at 11. They would spend all day long with us. We wouldn't finish up until about 9 p.m. Okay? Now, what we do for that day is we would pair them up with either a member of the sales and marketing team here that I showed you, or with one of the trainers that's already in this program. Okay? We let them hang out with us for an entire day, ask all the questions that they want to ask, learn a lot more about the clients and the campaigns that we're working with now. It's a great day for our candidates to get to know a lot about the company and a lot about our current goals. It's a great day for people to meet each other, see if they like each other, see if they hate each other. Okay. The reason that we do it is usually after spending an entire day with someone, we've got a much better idea of whether or not it's going to be a good fit for the company. Okay. Now, like I said, we'll start tomorrow at 11, and that won't finish until about 9 o'clock. I assume if you're selected, you'd be free for a whole day for tomorrow? Yeah. Okay, fantastic. All right, well, I'll be making the callbacks myself personally between 6:30 and 7, okay? What is the number that I can definitely reach you on at 6:30 and 7 if you are one of the successful candidates? Is it this one? Yeah, 916-422-2666?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, fantastic. All right. Well, fantastic. Well, Chris, either way that it works out, it was a pleasure to meet you today. Appreciate you coming in. Wish you the best of luck, okay? Fantastic. Juice?
Juice.
Got it?
Got it.
All right. Questions? Yeah.
You know when say you say, would you think you'd be able to do this, or you're asking them a question, what if they say no? Do you just finish the interview, or do you just carry on? Or?
Well, if I built the greed up enough, they won't ever say no, because they want to do that because it looks fun and it looks exciting. I think when you talk to interviews, like what is it that most people are looking for? They're looking for something stable. They're looking for something exciting, but they're looking for something with variety too. Most people are just bored doing the same thing over and over and over again. So I'm trying to explain a program where they can advance rapidly, but also the things change. You know what I mean? They get to do all this new exciting, interesting stuff. So if I'm getting that question a lot, I got to look at it and say, well, my interview sucks, and I'm just being a little bit boring because. If I ask them, could they see themselves coming through this program, like 100% of them should say, yes, absolutely, of course. Where I will get a no sometimes though is on the hours. Can you handle those hours? And that's if someone's specifically in university, or maybe they're a single mom, or maybe whatever. So in that case, I would then go through their specific schedule, what days they could work, when they couldn't work, and try to work around that. Cool. Any other questions?
I have a question. So in the U.S., there's a lot of small offices in the same market. So
Yep.
people sort of go through the same recruiting funnel and they interview for similar offices, very similar positions.
Okay.
When someone comes in knowing what to expect, and it's very similar interviews, and they say to you something like, okay, is this like door-to-door sales? Is this like commission? Like, I don't want to do that. How do you return something like that?
Yeah, so if I'm in markets with other people, first I want to go on interviews with those other offices, so I know what their interviews are like and what their environment's like, and we try to make it as different as possible so that I don't have that happen in the first place, where they wouldn't come in and see that this is something similar. Cool. Also, I mean, we're independently owned and operated, so I'm never talking about I'm not that company, I'm not that company. Listen, we're not the only company that does sales. And when I'm explaining the program, I'll go through that. I mean, if I get to this part and I'm explaining, yeah, sales team work, business, consumer events, and exhibitions, I'm never going to lie to a person. So they say, oh, okay, so you do door-to-door? Well, absolutely. That's what our clients ask us to do, 100%. Sure. Have you ever done it before? No. Okay. That's really exciting. Oh, well, I'm absolutely not looking for anything like that. Okay. No problem. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, we terminated it. Not looking to lie to that person and bring them back in and have them ruin somebody else's day and complain. Anybody else?
So if you have sort of good candidates at the door that are pretty young, probably not, looking to be a manager.
Great question. Okay, so when I have a person that like this is their first job, or maybe they don't have a high profile, or maybe they would be a little bit nervous about this, I'll do a couple things. I'll say manager. I'll change that word to supervisor, or something a little less intimidating. Okay, managers, supervisors, team leaders. And I'll also explain, we have a lot of roles in the program. What we typically do for a person like yourself, or for a person that's just getting into the job market, we would bring them through this training program where they'd have the opportunity to be trained in every single department of the company. I'm talking a lot more that they're going to be trained as opposed to they're going to work in every single department. Let's say they learn all these jobs, we would provide full training, and then at the conclusion of the program, they would either be able to take a role as one of our managers or supervisors, or if they wanted, they could choose to specialize in one department so that the pressure's lower there. All right, cool. Let's go to the callback. So if I do the interview, I do the callback. Anything else is just laziness. I don't ever have my admin do the callback. I don't ever have, an assistant manager do the callbacks. If I do the interview, I'm going to do the callback. If I sat down with a person, I want them to hear my voice. I know exactly who I was talking to. Like, I'm the one that has a relationship with that person, and I want to be able to hear what their voice is like. I want to be able to hear if they're excited. I want to be able to. There's not going to be anyone that's going to understand them better than me. So I'm going to be the one doing the callback. So when you do the callback, it's really, really simple. I call back in the time frame that I told them I was going to call back. So I said I'm going to call back between 6:30 and 7. I'm going to call back between 6:30 and 7. If I can leave it till closer to 7, I will, to make them, want it a little bit more. But we're doing it within that time frame. We're very, very, very close. It's pretty simple. Antoine, can I use you? Yeah. Ring, ring.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi, can I speak with Antoine, please?
Yes, that's me.
Hi, Antoine. This is Christoph. We had an interview earlier. How are you?
Great, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Listen, so we had your interview. We did sit down with a number of the other candidates, and then I did have a chance to sit down with the rest of the managers and make some decisions. And I have some good news for you. You were selected for a secondary interview for tomorrow, so congratulations.
Awesome. Thanks a lot.
All right. Listen, I just want to go through the times with you again. Do you have something to write down with?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I need you to be here along with the other candidates at 11 o'clock. Okay? I need you to bring a hard copy of your CV again with you. Okay? Dress just like you did today. You look fantastic. We will not finish until about, like I said, 8:30, 9 o'clock. I'm going to have you paired up with one of the top trainers here. You're going to get to spend a whole day with us. It's going to be really, really super exciting. All right? You also want to bring a notepad and a pen in case you have any questions, and so that you have something to write down notes with. Okay? All right. Well, fantastic. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. I'll be here to meet you myself.
All right, see you tomorrow.
Cool. Now, if they're a woman, I'll say, okay, dress smart, professional, just like it is today. Be sure that you wear some flat, comfortable shoes. We don't allow heels. Cool. So I just make it like company policy. We don't allow heels. Like it's insurance reasons or something like that. Cool. If it's going to be cold outside, I say we'll be a little bit indoors. We'll be a little bit out. We're going to be out and about with that trainer. Okay. So if it's raining or whatever, bring an umbrella. If it's cold, you might want to bring a jacket. Yeah, so I want to prep them for that.
So they were excited. Yep. Thank you so much. I was asking the question. Is it commission?
I don't want to discuss that as much in the first part of the process because I think when we're explaining pay, there's a right way to do it, and it's on the day of O, and it's an hour-long conversation. And also in my office, I'm never going to, if I find a person that I really, really, really like, if I have to guarantee them some pay for a week or for 2 weeks or whatever, or maybe they're just moving, in exceptional situations, I will guarantee them something if I have to. So because of that, when a person asks it like that, or in the interview, I say, listen, we typically go through the pay scale during the secondary interview. but it is negotiable depending upon the candidate and their past experience. Okay? If on the interview though, in the prelim, they get super, super negative, oh no, I would never do sales, oh no, I would never do commission, oh no, no, if it's commission, I don't want anything to do with it, well, I'm just going to disqualify that person and say, well, it's probably not going to work out. Typically in the first and second part of the program, the roles are performance-based. But if it's just an innocent question like, oh, what's the commission, I was wondering, I'll say it's negotiable, it depends on the candidate and how well you do in the interview process tomorrow and also on the person's previous experience. Cool?
Hey, Christoph, you said obviously you offer the person an open day. Just when you've done that and they say, I can't make tomorrow, we're going to have to do another day, is there...
Won't happen.
Okay.
Because how many times did I talk about that we're doing it tomorrow in the first round? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So in the first round, that was the first thing I said, we're doing a bunch of interviews. This many, we're bringing successful candidates back in tomorrow. I went through the day of observation, our successful candidates are going to do this tomorrow. And I said, if you're selected, I assume you can make it free tomorrow. Okay, fantastic. Then I do it again on the phone call. If for some bizarre reason they, oh, I can't do tomorrow, I'm going to say, oh, what's going on? Oh, I have a doctor's appointment or whatever. Whatever they say they have, I say, can you cancel? Most of the time, they'll say yes. If it's something extraordinary like, oh, well, I just got home and, my grandmother's in, a car wreck or something like that, obviously I'll reschedule them for another day.
Christoph, so the law of averages getting people back after the callback.
What should it be?
Well, to me it's really important.
Yeah.
100% really. Sometimes we don't get that.
Yeah, if I invite back 10 people, then at least 9 should show up. I'm looking for 90% retention, and the way that I look at this is, so they already wanted the job when they came in. They already applied. They're obviously a ton of greed there already because they showed up in my building. If they then sit down with me, who's the CEO of the company, who's supposed to be the person who owns the business, if they're then less excited from that process at the end of it, then something's really, really, really off. So yeah, I look at it, I'm looking for a minimum of 90% retention on anybody that I invite back. And when you get really good, I remember Justin telling me this, like, how do you know when you master preliminary interviews? When more people show up than you invite back. That's how you know.
To the point where if I have 6 out of 8 shots one day, like, I'm fucking freaking out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going online, this preliminary interview online, I'm watching it 10 fucking times. I'm pumping myself up, I'm fucking lifting weights before my interviews. I'm looking in the mirror, trying to figure out my tie spots. I'm absolutely losing it. And I could care less. I'm going to assume that everyone else is going through other interviews today. But if they sit down with me and 3 other people, they should go back for me. That's my whole proposition. So I don't care who else they interview with today, they should come back to me.
I have a thing where I actually tell them on the phone call and I say, well, it's really important part of the interview, so we're actively up for the positions tomorrow, so try and
It's defensive. It's fine. If you built enough greed, that would be necessary. One thing, if you notice that Christoph did, is he made the day sound exciting. So we talked about the day of observation. I think he said something like it's really fun or it's awesome or something, and just making it sound like it's a great day because it is what it is. The person doesn't remember really what it is that he said so much as the way that he said it. And just to add one thing, which just because no one's asked the question yet, it's really important that all your leaders know your preliminary interview and that you go to that with them at least once every 2 weeks or 3 weeks to arm them with the confidence that they're going to need when the day of observation turns around and says, I didn't know I was doing this. Christoph said the word sales. He's written it down on a piece of paper. He said it in the prelim. He said it towards the end of the prelim. He said what we do is sales and marketing. Then later he's written it down. Then he's talked about it. Then he's talked about how they'd be out and about in the day of observation. No reason to call back and talk about it again. And it's really important that your leaders feel confident and feel armed with the prelims so they understand exactly what you're doing.
Did you get to say all the prelims as well?
No, I would never do that. I would never want my guys to ever watch me take a no if I didn't ever have to. So on the off chance that interview's not into it, it's a disastrous, it's a crazy situation. No, because I have part of the way I'm selling management is I sit in the office and take fucking yeses all day. So to have someone sit in the prelim on the off chance that person's the one no that I've been all day would be a disastrous situation. I would never want to show anybody any side of, short of like the guy's my top guy, he's pushing for assistant management, whatever, but like an average person, I would never want to show that person anything else other than the best fucking job in the entire world.
So,
Yeah, will you ever book anyone on the spot, or you always go on?
personally, I don't book people in on the spot. I just think, for me, the way that I explain the interview, it wouldn't make any logical sense if I booked them in on the spot. So if I told them I'm sitting down with 36 candidates and I'm inviting back the top 12 to 14, well, and then I book them in right on the spot, then if I were a candidate, I would think, well, how is he going to book me in if he hasn't seen the other people? Does that make sense? So if I explain it in a different way, sure. The only way I would ever do that, I don't know. I've seen some managers do it successfully in markets where maybe you do have 10 sales companies and probably people are going to be on 3 interviews today, and their attitude is I'm going to book them before the next guy. For me, for me personally, when I was in the interview process, it was the fear of loss, and it was the waiting, and it was the not knowing, being excited about an opportunity, but not knowing if they were going to be excited about me. That was really, really effective. So I don't want to kill that impulse factor by, I think it's just I lose indifference that way. For me.
One way you can do it though here, so, because yeah, what he's saying is totally true, so either the person's gonna, so the only way you can do it is say normally we call people back, we have a great connection or some sort of form of that, so we should do it, which gives the person way more importance than I would ever want to give somebody, setting up to really set my leader up for a lot of success, because the fear of loss should be there, isn't, and the person feels like I'm the one special person, I'm the top recruit, which is about the like anti-attitude perspective I want my job switched out. But one thing that's reasonable I think to do is to make is to book everybody in. So let's say I'm doing prelims at 12 o'clock. I'm telling them that we're done with the interviews at 12:45. We can call back between 1 and 1:30. If I'm doing then my interviews are doing at 1 o'clock. I'm telling them between 2 and 3. Maybe I'm doing it 2. I'm saying between 3 and 4. So that way I still increase my probability that I get to that person before any of the interviews they go to, but I don't lose them because I still maintain the impulse of that.
So if you interviewed someone at the end of the day, and you can't really call them later,
It's pretty much always my last interview. That's the way I do it. So my last interviews are always the people that I want. And so in busy markets. So that way I can call them after that. And place some importance on it. So is this the number to reach out? Okay, great. If we call you back between 6 and 6:30, make sure your phone's off. Make sure your phone's on. Make sure your phone's on because in unlikely scenario that you are one of the people selected and we call you, we'll just go to the next interview. Something to do.
Christoph, if the person you interview's currently working or they're not going to be available for another day or whatever, would you push them to see if you can get them the next day, or would you let them go?
I always push to get them in the next day. Yeah, always. And if they have a job, I assume that they can get off tomorrow, and I always assume that they're going to be available tomorrow, because they want something. So I'm not trying to recruit them. They applied for the job with me, not the other way around. So if they were able to get off work today for an interview, they can probably get off work at a job that they obviously don't like very much tomorrow for an interview too, right? People have days they can take off. They have 6 days, they have whatever. So and it's a competitive market. There's super high unemployment all over the world. People are competing for what I have. So I don't think it's unreasonable to say that should be done on my terms, because I'm the one that has the job opening, and you're the one that wants the job. So now, if it's some crazy extreme situation, I'm still going to be a human being. Do you know what I mean? If they say, oh, my son's having surgery tomorrow, I can't do it. Okay, well, no problem. Like, I'm not an asshole. But if it's just, well, I have another interview tomorrow, like that's not okay. Like, and it also means that I didn't do a good job at building a relationship with that person.
Cool.
Another thing, you said on the callback, in case of what you're wearing today, straight, out people, professionals, that sort of thing. What if the guy turned up wearing jeans and tracksuit, what would you say about that callback?
I think That depends. So if in the interview process I'm going to learn a lot more about him, okay? So if I learn that he just screwed up and he wore jeans because he didn't read the email, then I'm going to say tomorrow's professional dress. You know, if you have anything like you wear, you know, Sunday dress like you wear for a formal event, most of our other candidates are going to be suits and ties. That'd be fine. If on the other hand it's like something where he's really insecure about it, and maybe that is like the nicest set of clothes that he had, and he's just bored, I don't want to make him feel really shit. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't know. If he's taking the piss, then it's one thing. Get in a nice suit. Do you know what I mean? But if he like, you know, has black jeans on because that's the nicest thing that he has in his family, and he has, you know, a button-down shirt on, but maybe no tie because he doesn't own a suit. Like, I'm not gonna try to. I still want to recruit that guy. He could still be amazing. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe he's just bored. But most people can get a jacket or a suit for something.
Do you ever get a situation in an interview where you're interviewing someone and they try and take it to you in the interview? How do you handle that situation? So I know I've had it for half in the past.
Take it to me?
Yeah, someone
Try to fight me?
Yeah, I feel like, and it's not nice when it gets away from you. Do you just take a step back? Do you tell them to be quiet? Do you take the
No, I mean, so no one can ever leave my business unhappy. They can never leave unhappy, whether that's in a prelim, whether that's in a day of O, whether they're a leader, whether it's hot. I don't want anyone to ever leave my business unhappy, and I'll do whatever I got to do, and I'll say whatever I have to say to make that situation okay before they leave. So if they get upset in the interview process, I'm going to say whatever I have to say to make them feel okay. I'm going to apologize. I'm going to tell them I'm sorry there was a misunderstanding. You know, I didn't mean to waste any of your time. How can I make up for it? I'm sorry if there were, you know, whatever I gotta say. I'm not sure. Maybe my administrator's brand new. She probably made a mistake when she called you, or I'm so sorry. You know, whatever. I'll throw whoever I gotta throw under the bus. I'll apologize. I'll tell them that we're gonna fire people if they're upset. I'll tell them that we're opening a formal investigation. I'll offer to pay for their travel. I'll do whatever the fuck I gotta do to make sure that they leave and they're happy and they say, okay, well, I'm a little bit mad, but that guy was okay. He took care of me, and I'm glad that I resolved the situation. Does that make sense? Any questions on that? It's really important.
I think he was trying to say, what if someone was trying to dominate you, and not like they're angry at the interview, but some people are qualified, some people are older, like you said, that younger people can perceive that. So if you have this, say, 45-year-old guy who ran a company, the market crashed, lost everything.
Got it. So I'll talk. Yeah. So I'll preempt that a lot, and I'll say I really want to go over in the first part of the interview. Hey, I know you have a lot of experience. I'm really excited to talk to you a lot more, especially based on your background and what you've done. You've got even more experience than me. Unfortunately, today it's just a really super short interview because I have 37 other people to sit down with. If you are one of the candidates selected, though, we're going to actually bring you back in, and we have a full day to go through everything, right? If they're trying to dominate with me and just ask more questions, I mean, I just go back to this. This is super honest. I'm not hiding anything. This is our training program. They come in, they learn how to do the sales in one of three ways. Then they train people how to do the sales. I mean, this is distributor, this is leader, this is assistant management, and this is management. So anything that they want to ask about the job, like it's all, everything's right here. It's all right here. This is what we did. Like, this is the program they're gonna go through. So, well, what is the job? Or, oh, well, what is the job description? Oh, what would I actually be doing? If it's something like that, then I'm saying, okay, well, yeah, like I said, the first part of the training program, we're going to work with the sales and fundraising team. Now, let me go through that again. Our sales and fundraising team work 3 different ways. Cool. And then I'll just explain exactly the same thing I explained again, because that's the fucking job. So I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know. What more you want from me? Like, you're gonna, what's the job role? What's the job description? It's this, and then it's this, and then it's this, and then it's this. I mean, that's what it is.
What if they ask you something like, what's your position?
I'm part of the management team here. Yeah, I started in exactly the same training program, and I'm part of the management team.
Okay, so who's the CEO?
The CEO? My boss. Right? I don't typically use my name.
Okay.
I don't ever introduce myself as I'm the owner of the company or I'm the whatever.
Would you ever say something like?
I won't lie to them, but I would say each office is independently owned and operated.
Okay. So would you ever say something like,
All right, we gotta keep on schedule. Let's do